49ers update from Porto, where we have our bottle of port and a beautiful view of the Douro River. It's about to hit the Atlantic Ocean at this part of the city with the bridge, which has got 2 levels, and a very colorful town. I guess it's a good spot to talk about Brock Purdy and Mac Jones, the 49ers quarterbacks. Purdy is moving to Nashville. He and his wife Jenna have purchased some property out there. That means that he's going to be neighbors with George Kittle. That's why he's already working out at George Kittle's farm, which features that football field. Look at this. CJ Beathard, who is a native of the Nashville area, former 49ers quarterback, working out with Brock Purdy. It's quarterback's coach, Brock Purdy, simulating the pass rush for CJ, who is still a free agent at this point of the offseason. Spent the past 3 seasons with Jacksonville after his rookie contract with the 49ers expired. We'll see where CJ lands as a backup in 2025. But I'm sure that we're going to see a whole lot more of Purdy and Kittle working out together over the course of the offseason. A lot of 49ers players here in the past few years have been based in Nashville over the course of the offseason. And, you know, the fact that Kittle's got his field out there and the fact that he's going to have his QB out there could only be good news for the 49ers. They want that rapport between quarterback and tight end. No Brock Purdy at tight end U. Supposedly had some kind of charity golf function to be at. You know, George Kittle always gives people a hard time. Even if you do everything right, he'll give you a hard time, just as George is a fun guy. So he's giving Purdy a little bit of a hard time for not being a tight end U. But guess who was there? Mac Jones. And, you know, when we talk about off-season training, Purdy has been training in Jacksonville over the course of his NFL career in the offseason. Mac Jones happens to be from Jacksonville. Jones made the trip up to Nashville for tight end U, but it was Purdy, Jones, Ricky Pearsall, Jacob Cowing in Jacksonville earlier this offseason. And, you know, that's where Purdy's throwing coaches are. Tom Gormelli, Will Hewlett, both of those guys are based in Jacksonville, and I'm sure that the Nashville setup for Purdy in the offseason will bring him closer to Jacksonville. I'm sure he'll be making the flight, which is only about an hour between those 2 cities quite frequently. But this offseason, that led to both of the 49ers quarterbacks being in the same spot that we're currently in. We got these Portuguese egg tarts, which you could find in San Francisco, but you could literally find them on every corner here. Supposedly they're from Lisbon, which is our next stop, which has got a lot in common with San Francisco. But anyway, they call them pastel de nata. And I'm sure that there's a debate amongst the Portuguese people about which place serves the best one. They're insanely tasty, perfect for breakfast. And then we stumbled into this place. So they say that it's the world's best food hall, and it's tucked into this train station, which is one of the world's most beautiful train stations with all of its blue artwork on the walls. And I do have to agree with them. It might have been the world's best food hall. Braised beef, truffle sauce, green onions, chili. My goodness, I didn't know you could combine sugar with beef, but I guess we're about to find out how it tastes. Try it. You'll thank me after. I know cutting a sandwich can be blasphemous in the US, but it's not when you're dealing with something like this in Portugal. Oh my goodness. That bite that I had of this sandwich, that was unlike anything I've ever tasted before. Of course, Porto, this city, is named the same as the wine, port wine, dessert wine, typically in the US. And well, it's definitely a part of the tradition here. We went port tasting.
This is where a bunch of different distilleries and wineries are aging their port. I think they're aging the port in the barrels on the river because they all have their different flags for each winery. River aged, baby. Taking a little snooze in a barrel to the melody of the water.
Talking a little bit more about the 49ers quarterback room and the setup this year. How are these guys, these QBs, and I'm talking specifically about Purdy and Mac Jones, how are they going to fit with the 49ers rookies and some of the younger players. So, when I say rookies, I'm going to extend it to the guys who are in their second year as well, because 49ers are going to need some real second-year contributions here in 2025. And, I go back to the Jacksonville Summit that Brock Purdy and Mac Jones had with Ricky Pearsall and Jacob Cowing. I think we need to emphasize how important Pearsall is going to be for this team this season. When the 49ers traded Deebo Samuel, I think a lot of the spotlight rightfully moved to Ricky Pearsall. And remember, last season when they first drafted Ricky in the first round, a lot of the talk was, okay, are they getting rid of Brandon Ayuk? Are they going to be getting rid of Deebo Samuel? And the answer for 2024 was no. But the answer for 2025 was most likely going to be yes with one of those two players, with either Deebo or Brandon Ayuk. It ended up being Deebo Samuel. Brandon Ayuk tore his ACL and MCL, had all kinds of injury guarantees, essentially tethering him to the 49ers for this season. But Deebo had the worst year of his career in 2024. Obviously didn't fit all too well, I think, with the style that the 49ers are trying to shift to now with Brock Purdy throwing the ball a little bit further downfield. They're struggling to beat man coverage. They need guys that can just get separation, mano a mano in man coverage, and they really clearly think that Ricky Pearsall can be that guy. They have evidence that he can be that guy based on the, what was it, 18 targets, 14 catches, 18 targets over the final 2 games of the 2024 season. And they went ahead and they executed the long-term plan, which was in place when they drafted Ricky Pearsall, of letting go of Deebo Samuel, and now moving forward with a big spotlight on Ricky. So Ricky doing that extra work with Brock Purdy over the course of this offseason to build rapport where he can fit into one of those primary wide receiver positions from the very get-go. Really important stuff. But I think that the downstream effect of all this, the downstream impact, is going to be really important for somebody like Jacob Cowing. If Pearsall can handle his primary receiver role with stability and with consistency, dependability for Brock Purdy, we know that Jawan Jennings is going to be able to do that. I think we can surmise that Demarcus Robinson could be at worst a good number 3 for the 49ers. And then, the big wild card obviously is Brandon Ayuk. You would love if he fits into the X receiver role for San Francisco that he so effectively filled before the 2024 season. But if all that happens, then you have your supplementary receiver roles, your burner roles, your speed spot. Somebody like Jacob Cowing could be in a great opportunity to blow the top off of opposing defenses. It's why the 49ers also drafted Jordan Watkins over the course of this past offseason, because he can fit into that Cowing role where smaller receiver, but adds a speed dimension that can help solve some of the 49ers' separation issues. They ranked dead last in 2025. So all this is all part of the machinery that the 49ers are building for Brock Purdy. George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, obviously massive parts of that 49ers machinery. But I think that the receiver position specifically has got to do a better job carrying its weight as far as separation goes. And some of those younger guys trying to get on the same page with Purdy and company are especially important for the 49ers. To finish, it's a cool day in Portugal. On this day in 2004, their hero, Cristiano Ronaldo, the soccer player, made a goal that sent Portugal to their first ever Euro final. The Euro Championships back in 2004, and he's still playing. It's crazy. We're in 2025, that was 21 years ago. He's still doing it. Cristiano Ronaldo walking around town here. See so many of his jerseys. All right, off to Lisbon. Porto, beautiful. Breath of fresh air here, climate-wise. It's a little too hot when we were in France, when we were in Italy. Here, there's no humidity. We're on the west coast of the Atlantic Ocean. Just like the west coast of the Pacific Ocean, you don't have that sauna feel. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's how the ocean flows, how the tides work. We got nice, comfortable weather and great food.